Ah, Resident Evil 4 Remake, the game where Leon smells the play button. Today I'm going to show you how to beat it in 90 minutes. Let's go. Right, so this is a new game plus any percent run. For anybody who doesn't know what that means, it basically means I can use whatever I want to get through the game as fast as possible. I can use unlockable items, bonus items, glitches, anything goes pretty much. That's what any percent means. And if you don't know about speedruns too much, that's fine. No one's going to judge you here. But yeah, games are broken down into categories, and there's a ton of rules and stuff behind speedruns. If you want to check any of that out, go on over to speedrun.com. You can learn it all there. There's not really a huge amount that's interesting going on until we get to the village, so I'll use this opportunity to talk just a little bit about speedruns, I guess. But yeah, usually when I post videos like this, I have people who say stuff like, "This isn't a real speedrun, you're cheating," and I just want to point out that I don't make up the rules when it comes to speedrunning. It's not just something that people come up with on the top of their head. There are huge communities that put a ton of time into figuring all of this stuff out around games, all these glitches and stuff. A lot of people come together to sort of figure it out, but if it wasn't for a game being broken down into categories, then pretty much the fastest time on a game would always involve glitches. But obviously there are people who don't want to do a run with glitches, which is why games are broken down into categories. There are several world records for every game. For anybody who does know about speedruns, I'm sorry for ranting on about this. Just like I said, usually when I post stuff like this, I get a ton of people who make kind of comments saying stuff about speedruns, and it's just painfully obvious to anyone who does know about speedruns that they don't really know what they're on about, which is fine. I don't expect anyone to know what they're talking about. But really, if when you say stuff like that in the comment section, all you're serving to do is make yourself look a bit ignorant. That's my mini rant out of the way. I'm not trying to offend anyone, be patronizing or rude or anything. But yeah, if you want to learn more about speedruns and all the work that goes into it, just check out speedrun.com. You know, if you want to watch a video without glitches, or that's what you're into, that's fine. Just, you know, you can always search for that just by typing in something like the game name you're after and then glitchless, or no major glitches. So, like I said, I can use anything I want in this run. That's new game plus any percent for you. So I'm using the striker charm, which gives me 8% movement speed, and we've got our first little skip coming up. When you get into the village, you want to come down here. The chainsaw guy's going to spawn, and we're going to do the door skip. To do the door skip, you need to walk backwards up to a door and zoom in with a sniper scope. Walk as far backwards as you can, and then spin around and try to interact with the door whilst you're spinning around. It looks easy, but it's really not. It's actually kind of finicky. By coming around here and using the rocket launcher, or you can just use a gun to shoot through that window and blow off the lock. You can get into here a little bit early and grab the cog. That saves you a good chunk of time, saves you having to go around, which is kind of nice. You can do that with just a normal gun, but obviously with the rocket launcher I can do it from a bit further away, which saves me a little bit of time. I know that the new game runs are getting a little bit faster too. I've seen them well under 2 hours now. I think that even professional new game is under 2 hours now, which is crazy. The game's only been out for a few weeks and people are just blowing this game apart. But this is a segmented run for anybody who is interested in. I just kind of threw it together to show what's possible with speedruns now, more or less. So this isn't like a rocket fuel run, like super fast. It's relatively fast, but yeah, it's not the fastest out there. I think this is like a few minutes behind world record, as I only threw this together in a night. I'm trying to learn this run myself, and I just thought this would make an interesting kind of video. So, not really a skip or anything here, but if you go down on the left path, you'll have to evade these boulders, but if you just come around to the right, you don't have to. We are running past a ton of enemies, which basically means we want to be playing on the easiest difficult possible. Again, new game plus any percent just means you just want to get through the game as fast as possible. We've got another skip coming up here. This one is a bit of an out of bounds skip. Some of you might be wondering if you can do these glitches on console, and you can, although the door skip is a little more tricky on console, but these ones should work just fine. Essentially what we're doing here is backing up into a wall with the sniper scope out, and then when we get an auto save, we quickly hit the pause menu as soon as it pops up and load the autosave, and it puts us just inside the wall. And that way we can get up here and we can essentially just drop through the floor in a second and get straight into the house where Luis is, and skip running through the little side of the village there. Also, the game timer is the timer that we're going off of here, and when you pause the game or you're in cutscenes or menus, that timer does pause. So I'll probably also have some comments down there, like I'll title this video something along the lines of Resident Evil beat in 93 minutes or something like that, and somebody say, but the video's 96 minutes, and yes, that's because there are sections that aren't timed in this video. I'm trying to get all these meme comment things out the way earlier. If you don't believe me about the kind of comments I got, go and check out some of my any percent runs for our Resident Evil 2 or maybe Alien Isolation. The amount of people who they act as if I'm offending their religion by using a glitch or something, or it's insane how serious some people take it. But it's a little frustrating when you put a ton of time into creating a run and it's really obvious that the person who's talking shit about it is somebody who isn't really too familiar with how speedruns work. So apologies for my rants. I'll try not to go on about it too much. The next few chapters are pretty straightforward. We're just moving as fast as we can, pretty much running past everything, taking the fastest route we can. No doubt in the coming weeks this run will be obsolete and people will figure out much faster ways to get through things. With these out of bounds glitches coming out, they're no doubt gonna develop and you're gonna be able to get through the game a hell of a lot faster real soon. But the fact that the game's been out for like 3 weeks and people are already getting it down to this time is crazy. Those out of bounds skips that I've briefly shown, we have got a few of them throughout this run. You can't do those on professional, for anybody who's wondering, just because you don't have autosaves on professional. There are similar out of bounds glitches on professional, but you need to use typewriters to do them. If you're interested in learning anything about the speedruns in general, or for whatever category, like I touched on earlier, categories are a thing with most speedruns, and professional would be a category. You've got professional new game plus and professional new game. That essentially means, you know, you can do a category where you're playing professional from scratch on a new game save file, or you can do one on a new game plus file. But if you are interested in learning anything or trying to ask questions, I will try to help you if you put something in the comment section, but you might be better off joining the Discord for Resident Evil 2 speedrunning, and you can find all of that linked over on speedrun.com. Even if it's not about this game, if you go on over to that website and check out the game you're interested in, their Discord will more than likely be linked on that game's page on that website. You can join that and ask questions, and there's huge communities that are far more knowledgeable than I'll probably ever be, and yeah, you'll be able to basically ask whatever question you want, and you'll probably get a much higher chance of a response doing that than slap it in the comment section. But on the off chance that I do see it, I'll try to answer. If you do ask a question down there, I'll try my best. I think I try to cover the common ones. The question I get asked a lot when you show glitches like this is, can you do this on console? And yes, but I think it's just harder because especially the door skips. Because the door skips are tied to spinning around really quick. There's not really much to do with frame rate, except for like interacting with stuff. You can interact with stuff faster on a higher frame rate. But yeah, the glitches aren't really affected by frame rate in this game. So if you want to get out of bounds or do the door skips, I think you can do them. But because the door skips are tied to spinning around fast, they're much more difficult to do on console or controller. Obviously, using a mouse, you can change your sensitivity on the fly with your DPI buttons, and that just makes it way easier to mess around with how fast Leon spins around. So, puzzles are also something I struggle to get my head around a little bit. I'm still learning this game. I do want to start doing runs of this category without segmenting them very soon, but as I was just learning chapters, I thought I'd go ahead and put something together for a YouTube video. It will take me some time though to get good enough to be getting good times on full runs, but I will be doing that. I'm also working on No Damage Professional, which obviously is segmented as well, but that's going to be another rough one. I've edited out a lot of the menu screens when we end the chapters and stuff like that. If you're wondering why it's loading up a bit quick, all the loading screens and whatnot, I've edited all those out just to make the video a little bit smoother here. It's kind of the benefit of making a video for YouTube, I guess. Unfortunately, we're leaving the floof behind. Poor wolf. Sorry, mate. A few seconds is more important than saving you. Feels bad saying that, but that's just the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes. It's been a while since I've actually speedrun a game, and I really do love Resident Evil, so I might actually spend some time running this game. I've been stupid busy recently, so I haven't really had the time to speedrun anything. But it would be nice to get into a speedrun. Sometimes when you come through this clock tower section, Leon just won't get stunned. But sometimes he does. I got a bit unlucky there and he got stunned. So I'm running past that enemy and just blasting this one away. Striker fires really, really fast. It's not as powerful, I think, as other shotguns. I could be wrong on that, but it does fire really quick and it just has a ton of bullets in the clip, which is, I think, why I prefer it. What you might see runners doing of this category is, instead of using the cat ears, they'll use the chicken hat just so they take less damage, because it is really common to get slapped along the way. You can't always help it. Enemies will do different things sometimes. There's a little bit of RNG in what they do. Sometimes they just let you walk past. Sometimes they try and smack you. So, yeah, it's a good idea to use the chicken hat when running through this category. Just because you want to spend as little time as possible, like having to heal or, you know, getting into your menus and stuff like that. And there are a couple of sections towards the end of the game where you take intentional damage. So with those trapdoors, you can walk or sprint into them just after you open them and slash with the knife, and Leon won't have to do the drop down animation. It kind of saves you a couple of seconds doing that. That's actually a really new little skip that I very recently saw discovered. There's 2 sections you can do that in, but the other one is on chapter 1, and we actually skip by doing the out of bounds, that section, so we don't have to worry about that, but it's useful for this chapter. It's the only real little bit of tech we have in this chapter. We're pretty much just running through chapter 2, 3, and 4 before we get to anything really interesting. The out of bounds skips are really cool, but they're kind of tied to autosave, so there's probably many more places you could do them if you could force autosaves. But yeah, it's kind of just about when an autosave pops, unless a new method gets found in which you can just do them without using the autosaves. Crazy how fast people find stuff out on these games. So in this chapter we're going to have to fight Delago, and you pretty much just want to hit every single spear as fast as you can. There's a massive time difference between killing Delago early or late. And it's just after Leon says something along the lines of, "Think you can swallow me whole." If you kill him there, you're on really good pace. If you don't get him killed by then, you're going to lose a ton of time, and it's pretty much a reset. So, yeah, it's kind of rough. It takes a lot longer. It's weird how his health works, but I think it would be interesting when people come up with a more efficient SRT. At the moment, the speedrun tool we've got is pretty basic from what I've seen. It has like a kill count and stuff like that, but if you don't know what an SRT is, it's basically a tool that speedrunners will use to have open alongside their game, and it gives them a bunch of information about the game. Usually with Resident Evil games, they're really detailed, and they'll tell you things like an enemy's health or your DA level. For anybody who doesn't know what DA is, it's essentially a system within the game where if you're playing really well, like hitting all of your shots and not taking any hits, the game will become more difficult to make it harder for you. It's trying to basically adjust its difficulty on the fly to adapt to your playstyle. It does have a cap. The same as if you're playing particularly bad, like you're dying a lot, or you're getting hit all the time and you can't make it through an area, the game will make itself easier to make it possible for you to get through it. And that is a thing for Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil 4 was one of the first games to implement a system like that, like the original one. and it's a thing in a lot of games in the modern day. But I won't get too much into that. It's kind of long-winded and stuff we don't really need to discuss, but essentially what will happen on an easier difficulty is if you're playing really well, the DA will keep going up until you're essentially just playing on a harder difficulty. Like enemies will move faster or take more hits and you'll get less decent items and vice versa. Like if you're doing really badly, you'll see things in games like Resident Evil 2 Remake where your green herbs will turn into first aid sprays, or the game will just magically give you bullets out of nowhere and stuff like that. It's a cool system, but it's actually really complicated, and it's just something that it's sort of below the surface. You don't really have any indication of, but the SRT, because it's all programmed into the game, a speedrun tool will sort of give a speedrunner access to seeing what's going on with those levels. You may have seen certain things in speedruns before, especially in games I'm most familiar with, like Resident Evil 2, where speedrunners will intentionally miss shots or take damage, and the odds are they're manipulating the DA to make the game do certain things. Alright, there we go. We hit him with enough spears to kill him there. That's the quick kill on Del Lago. That's what you want. If the fight goes longer than that, you're losing a good 30-40 seconds. So, Chapter 4 then. Again, a very straightforward chapter. Not really anything special going on with this one. We're just running through it as fast as we possibly can. Leon does move faster when he's out of combat. So the Striker Charm, which gives us an extra 8% movement speed, and being out of combat, you might feel like Leon is moving way faster than he has on your playthroughs when you've played the game yourself, and it is noticeable, but that's why. Him being out of combat and that Striker Charm help out a lot. I was actually trying to put together a run for this or practicing these chapters, and I didn't even know that the Striker Charm gave you 8% bonus in movement speed, which is crazy. So pretty cool little interesting charm. I am looking forward to seeing where this game goes in the future. I think Resident Evil games really tend to get broken very fast, but Capcom have a history of patching stuff really fast. Like with the previous Resident Evil games, they've all been patched really quick when people have found out-of-bounds stuff. Although I feel like this game has really been made with speedrunners in mind. There's so much stuff that they've put in that just seems like it's there. It was easily avoidable, but they've put it there for people to find to do things faster. Yeah, there are out-of-bounds skips, which they obviously wouldn't intend people to find. That's not the kind of thing they're putting into the game. But there's a ton of little tricks and skips and stuff that you can do that it just feels like they've put there intentionally to allow speedrunners to get through the game faster. Even if you're running a category like NMG, which means no major glitches, you can't really glitch anything, there are still skips you can use that aren't glitches, but they skip chunks of the game. Like the Wrecking Ball's a good instance of that. If you throw grenades and at the Wrecking Ball at the wall, it'll take less swings. And also in Chapter 8, when you've got to get the goat's head, you can flash the enemies there so they don't drop the platform on you, stuff like that. It just seems like they've put a lot of stuff in just to make the game a lot quicker. Even Del Lago, like you hit him with enough spears, he dies really quick. That just feels like something they've put in intentionally. But yeah, we'll never know, I guess, unless the developers speak up about it. Quick side note, when you park up the boat, go into that first dock to get that one statue head, you want to turn the boat around before you get out of it, because turning it around when you leave is actually a massive ball ache. It's really not fun to do. Whereas this one, you kind of just park it up as quick as you can and the boat just automatically faces the way you want it to. The solution for these puzzles is always the same on all difficulties. There is one puzzle in the game where the solution is different on different difficulties, and it's when you play as Ashley. I don't know why they decided to change that puzzle solution on professional and hardcore, but they did. We'll get to that though. If you've played professional, you know how difficult that game mode actually is, and when you're doing the sections when you've got Ashley following you Man, it's annoying. Having her with the suit of armor is so nice. It just makes things so much easier, and you just have less to worry about. You can just focus on getting Leon through, and we'll see that in a minute. But on professional, it's so much worse. Her AI is actually kind of dumb, and it's annoying if she gets picked up, because you would imagine that if she got dropped, she would just run away, but a lot of the time she just kind of stands there for a few seconds after she gets dropped, so it's really nice not having to worry about her. So right here you need to interact with the pedestal before you can put the statue heads in. I actually accidentally interacted with the key, but it's okay. It's like a couple of seconds time loss. I can deal with that. I'll live. I really could have spent more time, as this run is segmented, just getting really crazy times on each of the chapters, but I'm not bothered by small amounts of time. Like, you're talking this, I think this run is like 3 minutes off the world record for this category, so considering I threw it together in a night, I'm happy with that. That'll do for now. The amount of time that people put into getting good runs is actually insane, but I'm interested to see where this run goes. I do kind of like to do the really difficult challenge runs, like professional, but I also like to do these kind of runs where the game, you can just use whatever to beat the game as fast as possible. I feel like that's really fun. I know a lot of people don't like infinite ammo weapons, but it kind of just comes with the nature of the run, right? You can use whatever you want. Why would you limit yourself to not using those things? But because Resident Evil is so popular, it usually has way more categories than other games. Like, I think I've said you see stuff like pistol only, knife only, all the different frame rate limits, and a lot of people feel that PC has a massive advantage because of frame rate. Well, again, this is where categories come into play. For games like Resident Evil 2 in the past, there are category limits where you can only play at 60 FPS, meaning that everybody's run on that leaderboard for that category has to be at 60 FPS. So in some sense, there's a category for everybody, you know what I mean? They try to adhere to people so that you can do categories that are fair. Otherwise, every game would pretty much just be unfair all the time. A lot of games would be pay to win. A lot of the time what you'll find, the rules will state that you have to keep the game at a certain frame rate, because a lot of the time higher frame rates means you can do things better. So yeah, it's nice when rules are implemented around frame rates. Otherwise everything would just be pay to win, especially games where it's difficult to get a good frame rate on. So you can do these puzzles a little bit quicker here. This isn't too much of a terrible puzzle, but it can definitely be done a lot faster. I haven't spent a lot of time practicing that puzzle. I probably should if I'm gonna warm up on these runs. One thing I've got to do is go and break down saves so that I've got saves for each chapter, because no doubt there will be chapters that cause me problems. Yeah, even the next chapter, there really isn't a fat lot that we can do to speed it up other than go fast and use the rocket launcher. That's pretty much it. The second half of this run definitely has a lot of more cool tricks, but the first half is more reliant on just movement and using the rocket launcher and taking advantage of the weapons we have at our disposal this early on in the game. It's kind of nice. Alright, let's do this thing. Okay, so we're about to see Ashley in action, mate. We finally caught up with her. It's so terrible having her follow you around without the suit of armor. It's really frustrating, unprofessional. This chapter was definitely giving me a rash, man. Still got to finish my no damage run of professional. I just know it's going to be rough in these sections because I like to suffer. I'm going to be doing it. Obviously new game, but I'm going to be using no bonus items because I don't really want any advantages when it comes to that run. But we'll see. I'm pretty sure I've got all the unlocks now. But yeah, I won't be using any of them. There are challenges around it within the game that only say you can't use bonus weapons. So you can use bonus items, like I could go through with the cat ears and I could use Ashley's suit of armor as well, and the run would still give me achievements and challenges and stuff, but I've already done all of that. It was just more about doing it with the challenge. I just want to challenge myself, basically, and From what I've seen, it may have changed now. The last time I looked, I don't think anybody has done a no damage S plus run, which is just interesting to me. So I'm going to get around to doing that soon. But it's crazy how just running stuff like this actually will help out that run. Just learning optimal routes to get through stuff and the best way to move through enemies at certain times. Even though on professional, obviously the enemies move a bit faster and stuff. But yeah, there's definitely a few little tricks that I've picked up that will help me out. Right, so coming up to the house, just running around all these guys. I like to just stay wide from this brute because he can still hit you with a clothesline and you don't want that. Ashley is miles behind us right now, but it doesn't matter. As soon as you get across this bridge, the cutscene with Luis triggers and you're good to get into the house. So let's go ahead and get in there. We'll blow out this window with the shotgun and we're pretty much just going to stand here with a rocket launcher and just keep blowing away all of these dudes. Essentially, when the brute shows up, that's the last enemy you've got to kill, I think. I think I messed up a little bit when it came to him. I had to back up and shoot him. There was a couple of sections at the end of this chapter where you kind of just want to take a little bit of damage in order to get through it a bit faster. So one thing I'm trying to be mindful of pretty much throughout the whole of this run is just not taking too much damage. I'm sitting with the cat ears to keep my ammo up, but you can obviously use the chicken hatch to take less damage. But if I'm mindful of my damage all the way through the run, I should be good. One thing you can do though is if you are using the chicken hat and you haven't got a lot of ammo, switch over to the cat ears, reload your gun, and then go back to the chicken hat. It's just more of an inconvenience. Obviously, pausing the game pauses the timer, so you're free to do that without losing any time. The one thing you do want to avoid doing though is going into your menu and using healing items. Cycling between these three windows then, I should have probably realised that it was just the brute left. So after you've killed that brute, I'm pretty sure the level's just going to end. Ashley will show up any minute now. There she is. Sorted. So up to chapter 6 then. So we've actually got a little skip coming up here, a little out of bounds skip. So for this one, we're going to keep running and we can essentially completely skip out the Bella sisters just by doing a little out of bounds trick. And there's pretty specific positioning involved with it. Like you have to make sure that you're standing in the right place so that you don't trigger the autosave too early, which can be a little bit frustrating. If there's any of these skips that you want a few more details on, I know I mentioned going to the you can go to the Speedrunner Discord if you want to, and those links can be found around on speedrun.com. But if there is something you need to know desperately, the comment section is always an option, but also I stream regularly. You can ask me over there at twitch.tv/ifreams. Come on over, put some hair on your chest, inches on your penis, and yeah, you can come ask me. I'll try my best to help. But yeah, there's a lot of specific positioning involved with these glitches, so it's kind of frustrating when you're trying to learn them. One thing that's really difficult to find these days if you're not familiar with where to look is just information on how to do all of these tricks, right? Like you think, how do people learn these things? And it is just because it's a community working together. But here we want to stick to the right, and that'll stop the autosave from triggering. Blow out these barrels and sort of back up into the wall with the sniper scope out. And then when the autosave triggers, it's usually when Ashley comes close to you, we can load the autosave, and then we'll be poked outside of the map by that. And then from there, we want to walk backwards, so we're out of the map, run around here, and we're kind of just following the fence here. And there's a certain area where we've got to be careful of, and it's just up here on this corner. If you go too far to the left, you'll fall out of the map, so you kind of need to stay close to the wooden fence, and it's the same here. You want to stay close to the fence until you get about here, and then you can get back into this side and you're past the gate. The sisters are just chilling there, which is kind of weird. They won't attack you. Their animations are a little buggy and they swing their chainsaw occasionally, but yeah, they won't actually follow you out. And that's it. So we don't have to fight them two. We don't have to get the crank or anything. Saves a bunch of time. Beautiful. When we get to Mendez, we just kind of want to spin around and run away. Great thing about that skip is you can actually do it on any category, because by that time you can have your scope. Except for professional, of course, when you don't have autosaves. So we're going to blow up this cart here to get rid of these dudes. You want to be quick, because sometimes the bridge blowing up can stun Leon. And I think it's about just getting close to it. So we just want to avoid getting too close to that bridge. So there is a skip for Mendez where you can essentially just completely run around him. But I think it's actually slower than just using the rocket launcher. If you use the rocket launcher, it's actually just quicker because it's just 2 shots with the rocket launcher. So we just smash him up. Get it done. There we go. Dealt with. Easy with the rocket launcher. Alright. So if anyone's wondering how you get the rocket launcher, the infinite ammo rocket launcher, you have to buy it on New Game Plus from the merchant. Yeah, right here I realized that my aim assist was still... I swear I had this off earlier in the run. It didn't feel like I had it on. But I actually, yeah, I prefer to have it off all of the time. It's frustrating. Doesn't work the way you want it to on mouse and keyboard. It's just kind of weird. Sometimes you'll be trying to aim at a specific thing and it'll just snap onto something else. It's really annoying. Sometimes it'll bug out and just turn itself back on. But that's chapter 6. We've got another cheeky skip on this one as well. Some really nice tech that people have found so early on. I don't know how people find this stuff, but everyone working together have just found so much. It's insane. So when we encounter our first parasite head thing, whatever the hell, the parasite with teeth, you can just sort of come to the side here and Leon will get stunned. When he's in that stun animation, if you aim your gun, it'll break the animation and you'll just be able to carry on running. I was a little slow with it there, but it's really useful. Also here as well, there's certain cutscenes like this one, where if you just aim during the cutscene, it'll cut it out and give you control of Leon again. When you're coming up the stairs here, you can look through the side and shoot the bag of stones or the cage of stones, and that'll bring the cannon up from here rather than doing it anywhere else. One thing I actually figured out you can do with the Killer 7 is use it to destroy the catapults. You can shoot the barrels if you want to, but if you just hit the catapults with the Killer 7, it'll destroy the catapult straight away, which is really nice. I actually figured that out there when the bullet missed the barrel and hit the catapult. Kind of helpful. You do want to be careful here of moving the cannon. When you smash the door, you'll get an autosave, and if you load the game during that time, any projectiles that are in the air about to hit you, or enemies that are immediately around you will move. So Leon won't get grabbed, which is kind of helpful. We don't need to worry about Ashley, obviously, because she's just going to get dropped. These guys are all kind of dumb, and they just focus on running for Ashley. They don't really seem to care about us too much. I don't know if that's got something to do with the autosave we did, and loading that, but I'll take it. Keep moving. Don't have to worry about shooting them, even though, you know, we've got super strong weapons. Shooting them is slower. We want to just keep moving. We don't want to constantly be in combat. So right here, we're going to use the rocket launch to take out this group of enemies. Try and hit one in the middle to take out both of these guys, but I don't really think it worked out. Stunned myself with the rocket launcher there, which is kind of frustrating, but we've got a little door skip here. Same situation where we aim downwards. Get rid of this guy. Aim downwards and spin around, interact with the door, and it will push us through the door. We need to actually open this door from the side though to let Ashley through. Otherwise she'll stay stuck there. Sometimes Ashley will just teleport to you if you get too far away from her, but other times she won't, and she'll just stay stuck in areas, and we need her for this section. Sometimes when that happens, you can just leave her and just move on and go to a cutscene or something, and it'll just continue the game. But in this section, we need Ashley to climb up and use the Halo ring. So, yeah, we've kind of got to get her with us. So I'm going to run past these dudes, but I'm getting ready with a flashbang. Grab the Halo wheel, and you want to stun them here because they'll just run up on you, and it's kind of a high chance that you'll get grabbed. We'll come around here. One thing you don't want to do is throw the flashbang and then have it blow up whilst you're using the wheel like this, while this little cutscene is playing of the wheel going in, because it won't actually work. The flashbang will explode, you'll hear and see it explode, but it won't affect anyone. So you want to make sure that it's blown up before you into that animation. Trying to run around as many people as I can here, but again I'm going to try and do the same thing, just look back, throw myself a little flashbang, get myself some breathing room, and here we go. Plenty of time to do this. Not everyone has been stunned though. This guy is creeping up on me. So once you get up here, these enemies will actually just leave you alone, which is nice. No bother. Getting shot in the back by a crossbow person twice. Archer was having the day of their life, mate. Appreciate it. For anybody who suffered through professional,
You gonna be okay?
this was probably the worst section for me. I don't know about you, but ammo was a real struggle for me at this point on professional mode. Very, very tough. Just getting through it is hard enough. So pretty much here we've done our section and we just need to chill and help Ashley out, take anyone out who's coming to her. One thing that's really difficult for me whilst speedrunning this game is actually aiming at stuff. Like I mentioned before, those skips you see me doing with the doors are actually a lot easier when your sensitivity is high, and I'm a low sensitivity mouse player, so even though I have DPI, the game's sensitivity is set as high as it can possibly go. So I'm still trying to find like a sweet spot for me on between two DPI settings, where I can have a comfortable feeling setting for me, and then I just flick it up once and it's high enough to do the door skips. But I haven't found that yet, so my accuracy's a little off. You might see me missing more shots than usual. But also this game isn't hit scan, it's kind of like a little bit of leading, which is interesting. You can kind of notice that when you shoot something that's really far away. You'll see the bullet hit the surface like a little bit later. Alright, let's go.
Okay, get back here.
I am enjoying my time with this game though, man. Really, really happy with what they've done with the remake. This game is held so dear to so many people. I'm so happy that the remake has done it justice, and everyone seems to be really happy with the remake. Alright, so we have to wait here for a minute for Ashley to catch up, or the door will close in her face and she'll have to open it again. Saves us a little bit of time just to wait for her, because we need her here. Usually we'd be able to continue, but we need to push her through. But yeah, even though the next game in the series, obviously Resident Evil 5, is really good, I kind of feel like it's not as well loved as this game is. I feel like it is loved, and it's a good game, but Resident Evil 4 definitely tops it, so I don't think people are going to be as hyped for Resident Evil 5. Alright, so that was Chapter 7. I think some people are hoping for Code Veronica next, because I know that a lot of people really, really love that game, although I haven't played it too much, so I don't really have much of an opinion, but a lot of the people I know who love Resident Evil as much as me really like Code Veronica, so nowadays I feel like I've been spoiled by modern graphics, and playing retro stuff just doesn't really do it for me. But you never know. I'm sure whatever they do next will be great, because this has done such a good job. Hopefully they keep on the same developers that have made this game, and they'll do a really great job with the next one. I don't know though, I kind of would like to see a new Resident Evil. I love what they did with 7 and Village, but I feel like it would be nice to have a new protagonist. Completely new. They always try and tie it in some way, I know, but... Alright, so... this beginning section of this chapter, we haven't really got too much tricky stuff going on. Pretty much just hitting shots on that guy with the key item that we need. We've got a little puzzle up here to solve. Towards the end, there's a couple of little tricks you can do to get through the section a bit faster. With the switches and cage balls that you've got to drop down, you can get through that area a lot quicker than you would normally. You can do it with grenades or just the rocket launcher if you want to. Obviously we're going to use the rocket launcher because it's just easier for us. Right. Let's quickly solve up this puzzle. Not the fastest solve, but I haven't really put much time at all into solving these puzzles, man. I dare say I will have to, because they are very scripted. Except, I think there's only... the only puzzle that isn't completely scripted is the...
Need to find Ashley.
the lock in Mendez's lodge or whatever it is. That one's kind of like the Resident Evil 2 medallions in the sense that it randomizes each time and you've got to move it. The solution is always the same, but you've got to move the pieces differently in every run. Which is kind of a nice touch. Gives the run a little bit of flavor. But you can actually get affected quite hard by RNG during that. So shoot out these things as fast as you can. I missed my shot with the Matilda there. Let's keep going. Blow these dudes up. Keep moving. If you're lucky, you'll kill the parasite here. If you're not like me, it will survive. We're going to pull the switch and head on up. Let's go. Whip out the rocket launcher, and if we shoot the rocket launcher sort of at the bottom of the gate here, it will destroy the chain bag thing. Just keep going. Take out this other one that's right here. And we just need to swing a left now and we're at the troll. Again, this is what makes me think that they've put stuff in intentionally for speedrunners, because you can blow that bag up with a grenade as well. So you don't necessarily need the rocket launcher. Kind of cool. Definitely interesting time saves, because if you've done this section, you know how long it takes to get around to the troll. So it's nice to just get there really, really quick. So we're going to hop down. Grab the shotgun. Take out this guy. We need to flip a switch. And head this way. Drop down. Climb back up. Oh, I got hit by the bolt. Actually took me out of the animation of climbing up the ladder. Frustrating. Right, let's go.
Yes. Cannon. Hope it works.
Alright, so we need to shoot these. I don't know what to call them. I'm just going to call them weights. And again. Cannon's lifting, bruv. Alright, get the rocket launcher out. I'll show the cannon. Spin it round. Blow up the door. And we're gone. One thing I didn't know for anybody who's a mouse and keyboard player is that the cannon can actually be moved if you're barely moving your mouse. When I first tried to move the cannon, I was trying to move, out of force of habit, I was trying to continuously swipe my mouse to move the cannon, but it's kind of locked at a certain movement speed, so you can just move your mouse really slowly and you'll be able to move it much further. Its movement speed is sort of capped. Alright, and that is chapter 8. Beautiful. Right. So we got one little cheeky skip in this chapter. I think about it, yeah, I think it's just one. One little cheeky skip. There's really not a huge... This is the thing, like a lot of runs involve tons of skips and tricks and stuff. And this run doesn't. It's literally a handful of them. The problem is there's a handful of those skips that can be quite tricky spread out across the entire run. So, and one of them is right at the end as well. So you can have a really good run going like in this sort of category, or even just in any of the categories that allow you to use the out of bounds glitches. And that is a lot of them, especially the popular ones at the moment. You can completely screw over your run. You could literally be running for like 2 hours and then mess up one little trick and your run is pretty much dead from it, which really sucks. It's different if the run is 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but when the run's 2 hours, that's not a great feeling. But we'll get to that. We're getting there. Alright. Let's keep going then. Smash it open. Swing it down here. Wait for the wolf. Get rid of him. We're just pretty much running past the wolves in this section, making sure not to run in front of the cage. You don't want to get grabbed. You want to order Ashley onto the switch and then back up to take out any wolf that's coming out of her. I don't know if you caught that wolf bouncing off her armor right there. It's very nice to see. The amount of times Ashley's just gone down on me. She can get stuck in a loop sometimes as well. It's really frustrating. You'll sort of like pick her up, then she goes down again straight away, and you pick her up, she goes down again, and it just keeps going around. Very frustrating. Alright. So this is one of the longer chapters in the run. I think this one and chapter 11 are the longest. The chapter with the minecart. If you've ever seen a Resident Evil 4 OG speedrun, you'll know that you can do a bunch of glitches. And one of them is to skip the minecart section. Pretty much. Which is really nice, but not in this one, or at least not yet. Maybe people will find a way to run around the minecart section. I suppose it depends how it's structured. Alright, let's keep going. So, we're going to go to the dining room first. And it actually works out quicker if you tell Ashley to sit in the seat of the king, and then Leon sits in the queen's seat. Or maybe that's the seat that Leon prefers.
Looks like we figured it out.
I better be careful what I say, or I don't know, someone will rant about it on Twitter or something, and something like that. Seems to be where most people are complaining about things these days. But no, I am LBGTQ friendly. So don't worry, man, don't worry. Just don't be a fucking pussy. Alright, let's go grab the lion head and start destroying suits of armor. Put one in the middle. Very straightforward, just destroy them. Really easy with the rocket launcher. I'm pretty sure the order that these guys come out is like scripted, so you can just instantly know which one is next, and then when you're done, grab Ashley.
Yeah.
Nice and easy, mate. Alright, so let's activate this. Hurry up, Ashley. There we go. Alright, so one more section left to do. And this is where the skip comes into play. If you equip a flashbang, I'm pretty sure you can do this with a grenade as well. Probably even the rocket launcher, but if you use a flashbang or a grenade, you can stop the two guys that pull the switch. I'm not sure what the name is of the guy with the lantern that mutates everybody, but yeah, you want to chuck the grenade about there. You can see him stunned up if you look down there, but yeah, that'll stop the platform from getting dropped and save you a ton of hassle. Bunch of time. There we go. These guys didn't want to die. Alright then. So now we've just got Ashley's little section. And it is literally around half of the chapter we play as Ashley. It's not the fastest of sections, but it's super safe because we've got a suit of armor. This is a very free chapter on all difficulties. Just a long one. We've got some cool skips coming up in the later chapters though. Pretty much most of them are door skips. There's a couple more out of bounds. Interesting stuff like that. But because of the way this game's structured, sort of like chapter to chapter, I'm guessing, well yeah, you're sort of locked out trigger-wise. If you don't know how triggers work in video games, it's basically like when you pass through a certain area, a certain thing will happen. And let's say the end of a level is a trigger, right? The end of a chapter. Say chapter 10. You can't go through, say, a chapter 12 trigger whilst you're on chapter 10. Because the game hasn't registered said trigger or something like along those lines, you know? Whereas on a game, on previous Resident Evil games, a lot of the game didn't have sort of this sort of chapter stuff going on. So you could essentially just skip stuff. You could skip big chunks of the game because it all sort of loaded in just when you entered it, more or less. It was like kind of seamless like that. Resident Evil 2 Remake was a good example of that. You could beat that game by using out of bounds glitches in like 25 minutes or something like that. But That was something that Capcom patched really, really quickly. I don't know if they will with this game, though. Just because of how beloved the speedrun is of Resident Evil 4, and obviously it being from an era where patching games wasn't really a thing. I don't know if they will. I'll be gutted if they do. Because to be honest as well, when that sort of stuff happens with a speedrun, all people tend to do is just down patch the game. If they want to use glitches that are no longer in the game because they've been patched out, they can just down patch them.
The heck?
It's really simple to do with Resident Evil games as well. It literally just comes down to copying the executable out. And I know that because speedrunners have faced that problem before with previous games, they're already backing up the executable. So literally the day that these things get patched, people will just still be doing them. No problem. It just won't be a problem at all. Alright. So Ashley's section, very straightforward then. We just need to get back now. Let's go, go, go. Ducking under here. I know I've been getting sidetracked a lot, but I'm sure many of you have seen this game a handful of times already. And, yeah, there's not a huge amount for me to explain. I'll explain the skips and tricks we do when we come to them, but aside from that, I'm just chilling. I hope you're enjoying your time here. I appreciate you watching the video. Someone, again, I'm waiting for those comments, man. I'm waiting for those comments telling me I'm cheating and this isn't a real speedrun. I just kind of wonder what goes through people's minds. Do they think that, like, I just make up the rules to speedrunning myself, or I just think to myself one day, I'm gonna make a speedrun, and I don't, like, have to learn anything or do any research on how to do all these tricks. Like, I just figure them out myself and whatever. Because that's not how it works. That's not how the majority of speedruns you've ever watched work. So much time goes into learning a speedrun, and even more time goes into, you know, figuring everything out in a game, the optimal strategies and whatnot. And it's not done by one person. Obviously, some people contribute more than others, but it's an entire community that work together to figure out how to beat these games. That's how games get beaten so fast. If you ever wonder how do people figure this stuff out so quickly, it's literally because there's communities of people that are working towards it. Whenever a game comes out, you got to think Resident Evil's a massive game. So as soon as a new one comes out, there's a ton of people who are just doing everything they can to destroy it. Alright, chucking a flashbang here. We got another door skip coming up. This one is a bit of a tough one. This skips us all the way through here, so we don't have to go up. And we're just instantly in the bug hall. And you might think to yourself, oh, you could go through that door to your left where the merchant is and skip to chapter 12. It doesn't work. Remember I was talking about triggers earlier? Doesn't work. If you go down there, you just can't finish the chapter, essentially. You soft lock your game, which just pretty much means you can't continue. You have to do things in order, so we have to beat chapter 10 and 11 before we can do chapter 12. If we could do things out of order, the run would be a lot shorter than this. And again, I don't want to sound rude or anything, but pretty much anything you could think of, that the odds are someone's already thought of it. Like, the amount of, I'm not saying me, but the amount of stuff people are experimenting with on this game is insane. And new stuff is being found all the time. The fact that professional new game is being ran in like under 2 hours is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I think it would be doable in, like, if you were new to speedrunning and you're not the kind of person who wants to spend a ton of time repeating yourself, you can, you know, you'd be able to beat the game in a few hours with a little bit of learning and practice and whatnot. But if you do prefer to do runs that don't have glitches in them, I've done a run for professional which doesn't have any glitches or bonus items or anything like that, just to help you get guide. It's basically a guide on how to get the achievement, and it's a lot longer than a speedrun if that's what you're into. But yeah, it's more about just helping people who don't want to learn stupid tricks. And I feel like that's a problem with stuff like speedrun guides and whatnot. People will often be doing tricks that you just have no idea how to do, and you can't really follow a guide where you don't know how to do this stuff. So when I make those guides, I tend to not use them. So as soon as we load in here, we want to back up and aim it with the snipe to sort of get Leon's back into this wall, and then load up our autosave. And again, that'll pop Leon into the wall. And by doing this, we can skip squeezing through the gap down here, which takes probably like 20 seconds. We come around the side here and we're just at this tunnel part. But what we can do here is sort of duck down. I'm pretty sure you can do this on controller because of how slow you need to do it. You pretty much just spin around and then interact with the wall. But the way you want to do that is sort of run Leon's face into the wall, then let go of forward, crouch, make sure you don't move forward, and then you need to spin and interact. And Leon will go through the wall at sort of an angle and end up in this glitch. And you can skip all the way to here, saving you running around in that area back there. If you use the rocket launcher here, you can blow up the wall without having to kick it. And you can also use a grenade to do that as well. Alright, up we go then. All the way up. Mini cutscene here. Alright, let's go. Okay, so we're going to use the rocket launcher to get, is it what's his name? Vidago? The V guy, that guy. The guy who's still got his V plates, mate, that dude. We're going to use the rocket launcher to take him out. Let's go. Make sure you don't spam interact as you run through that door like I often do, because you'll just pick up the collectible on the wall and lose time. Just keep going. Got to be ready to evade. One thing you can do with this guy's evade mechanic is duck under it. But the problem is the duck button or the evade button and crouch are the same bind and you can't split them. So in certain sections you can just duck attacks and stuff, but in a situation like this, when his tail comes through the floor, you're better off evading it. But if it comes through the roof, you can duck it, like right here. You can actually duck under it. So if you duck quick enough, you can gain control of Leon faster. And it's potentially faster, but you're talking like a really, really small amount of time you would be saving. It's kind of not worth it for me, to be honest. So when he drops in here, we're just going to smash him with a rocket launcher. We want to make him faceplant. Because if you don't, he'll probably survive. And yeah, that's not what we want. So he's done. We need to get rid of him quick, because when we open this, it triggers the elevator. And the sooner you get rid of him, the sooner the elevator arrives. So if you end up taking him out in this area, say, then the odds are by the time you get to the elevator, it won't be there. So we want to kill him in that room before we actually come out, to be honest. Alright, so that's chapter, is it chapter 10? I think that's chapter 10, right? Very nice. Let's go, go, go. So another long chapter coming up. This one is with Luis, the minecart section. I want to apologize in advance for my accuracy in this section. It was really bad. But I was mentioning earlier about DPI and accuracy and sensitivity really affects my accuracy, just because I'm not used to it. But well, if you've seen my Deadeye video for the shooting range, you know I can aim, but yeah, when I start messing with my sensitivity, man, it's all over the place. It's kind of a big thing on mouse and keyboard. If you're not the kind of person who plays with mouse and keyboard, you may not know, but most people either play a high sensitivity or low sensitivity, and it's kind of just what you're used to, and I'm used to low sensitivity. So when I play on high, I just kind of feel like, basically imagine holding the mouse. I don't know if when you use your computer or a laptop or something, you know, when you move a mouse and the mouse moves a ton, like just by a small movement, it's kind of like that. That's the easiest way to explain it to you. Like, I'll move my mouse a little bit and it adjusts my aim a lot, whereas having it a bit lower makes it easier for me to aim. There is a door skip here. The whole sniper scope and spinning around thing. But if you miss it, and it is actually a really difficult one to get, I've only ever got that one a couple of times. But if you do miss that one, it's actually quicker to just let Luis open the door. If you don't get it first time, you might as well not bother. Alright. Dropping down then.
Give us a push, Sancho.
Who are you calling Sancho?
Let's get it. So yeah, again, apologies for my terrible accuracy during this section.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Hey, we're in a hurry, right? Oh, by the way,
What now?
hope you like thrill rides.
To be honest though, with this section I was getting kind of lazy just because there's nothing really special here to do. Playing on this difficulty as well, you'd probably have to mess up everything in order to destroy the cart, so what you really got to do is lean and hit a few enemies straightforward. Make sure you're hitting those signs when you get an option to change the tracks, all that good stuff. I'm pretty sure the dynamite guys do the most damage to the truck, like from enemy wise. If the guys hit you with a crossbow bolt, it doesn't really do too much damage. Sometimes I get confused as well, like I feel like my cursor is on the enemy and it misses, but I guess not. So hard for me to aim. I can see it myself, it's so difficult for me to aim on higher sensitivities. It's crazy to me. Alright. I just feel like it's way easier to be precise. You don't want to go too low, just because you'll end up getting an arm workout just moving your mouse about. Alright, get rid of these dudes. Okay. So the first section really isn't that long. To be fair, the minecart section in general really isn't that long. And we've got the first Krauser fight coming up, but it's made really short because we have the fighting knife fully upgraded, and we're also going to use the deer antlers for that fight. And what the deer antlers do is make your knife attacks way stronger. The catty is that you can see on Leon if you're wondering, basically just give us infinite ammo on all weapons. Except for the rocket launcher. For the infinite ammo rocket launcher, you have to buy it. And it costs 2 million, and you can only buy it in New Game Plus.
This it?
Afraid not. Things are just getting started.
Alright. As we're just sort of chilling, doing things I haven't really got much to say about. It's just same sort of thing. Oh yeah, take that one to the face. Might as well just promote myself. If you are looking for maybe collectibles or something for this game, I've done a full collectible guide for every chapter. Go check that out. I've done a no healing item run and a professional S+ rank run. Those are both done new game. No glitches, none of that stuff. If that's the kind of shit you're into, check them out. Maybe they can help you out, even if it's just with a section. I literally knew 0 skips when I made that guide. And it's taken me a while to get around to because I've been really busy recently, but yeah, the only skip I used was hitting Salazar with the golden eggs. Apart from that, I literally knew nothing, and I just did the game completely normally. It's fun though, really enjoyed my time doing professional, and the no healing item run was fun. This run's also been fun, but I would like to actually do some speed runs, because it has been a long time. Oos. Take that one to the face. Okay.
This is kind of fun. More parts. Left turn.
Okay. Eh, let's not flip it, mate. I think shooting those barrels up top does damage to the chainsaw guy. I'm not entirely sure, but I just feel like it does, because when he shows back up in a minute, his cart is severely damaged, and even though I shot him a few times when he was leaving earlier, I don't think I've hit him enough to sort of really wreck his cart like this. Like, his cart is done in right now. A few shots and it's done. I think his cart is also more durable than the other carts. Like, if you shoot these normal guys, their cart's destroying like 4 or 5 shots or something, but the chainsaw guy's cart seems to last a lot longer. Rather than you can't just shoot him and like stun him, but doing that just gets rid of him sooner, so you don't have to worry about him. It's dog water accuracy, man. Hit a shot, mate. All right. Shameful. Should be embarrassed. Okay. Down we go. Sometimes I feel like the cart is moving so slowly. I don't know if it's just me. But it just feels like it's barely going anywhere. The majority of this chapter is literally just mine carts. Alright. Final section then. Let's get through it. Go, 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 go. Right. So, I'm going to make sure I've got all my weapons reloaded in a second and switch to the deer antlers. There we go. And this doesn't waste any time, like I mentioned earlier, because being in the pause menu or any of those menus doesn't affect your time at the end of the game. It's kind of nice. It's always been that way with Resident Evils, though. The cutscenes don't count. Also, any time where you're sort of not playing the game, the time doesn't tick up. Very nice of the developers to be kind to us. Alright. Oh, something hit me in the back there. I've only taken a few hits so far, which is decent. My body armor has lasted really long. Alright, so watch out for these camouflage bugs, man. They are sneaky. I've missed them plenty of times and I'm just not thinking about it. You'd think I would know by now, considering the amount I've had to redo a lot of these chapters for other runs. Ended up putting that barrel to good use. Alright. One thing that kind of sucks about this chapter is also... what will also play into this is the fact that we're using that movement speed charm, is that Luis is like miles behind us. So we have to sit here waiting for him for ages because we can't use the elevator until he's in it with us. So we're kind of just stuck here waiting for him. Here he comes. About time, mate. Right. So, deer antlers, fighting knife, 4 stabs, and you're done. Easy. Almost too easy. But I'm going to switch straight back to the cat ears. I'm pretty sure, like I mentioned before, this run is segmented, so I'd restarted this chapter a couple of times after learning it. And I'd switch back to my cat ears, so you won't see that in the menus. It kind of just keeps whatever you've selected across all your playthroughs, and yeah, you won't see me changing that. For anyone who doesn't know what segmented means, it basically means I put this together chapter to chapter. I was just saving it in between chapters, and you know, just basically, it's not, I wouldn't say it's a completely valid run. Well, it's not a valid run because you can't do runs that way. Okay. Let's go. Somebody right now going, see, I told you your speedruns are shit or something like that. But segmented runs are perfectly fine, as long as you tell people they are. There's a lot of shit around speedrunning that I think a lot of people don't see, you know? And I think you only understand a ton of it when you're kind of into speedrunning a bit more. Okay, so all of this stuff is really straightforward. We can use the rocket launcher to destroy this thing that spits out fire, the little Salazar statue.
Shit.
And yeah, we don't have to worry about that now, at least on this first floor or two. We can just run past it. So if you want to use flashbangs here to stun these guys and run past them, you can. Problem is I don't have a lot of flashbangs left. And I think I need them. I might use one soon. Yeah, we used a bunch on chapter 10. Let's go. Go, 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 go. Get out of my way, mate. Thank you. There we go. Bugger off. Keep going. Oh, God. Pushing me around. Yeah, I think I used probably more flashes than I should. One thing that's important when you're doing New Game Plus is making sure you've got a save file with all of the stuff you need on it. You know, you need all the weapons you want, and you need all of the flashbangs, all that stuff. And making sure you don't save over it at the end of a run, because if you do, you're just going to lose your inventory and you're going to have to go and get it all back. Actually getting to the point where you have all of the stuff you need to do a New Game Plus run is actually kind of annoying, because you want to have a shotgun fully upgraded, a pistol fully upgraded, a snipe fully upgraded, the rocket launcher, which is 2 million on its own. Plenty of flashbangs, the inventory space, the charm you need, the bonus unlocks like the cat ears, the chicken hat, the deer antlers, the ton of stuff you have to get onto your save file so that you can actually do runs of this. That alone is a crazy feat. I don't even know how I unlocked half of this stuff. Like, obviously it's from doing shit like hardcore S plus and professional S plus and beating the game on professional without bonus items. I guess they're the juicy ones, but to be honest, I just played the game and got them out of the content shop. I was more just playing for achievements and trophies, and I kind of don't like to use stuff that make it easier for me. Because what usually happens if you're making guides, I mean, this video is different. This video is just more about, you know, having a little fun and showing how fast people have eaten the game. But one thing that is kind of interesting, I completely just lost my train of thought, man. Completely forgot what I was going to say. It'll come to me, don't worry. We'll sidetrack, I'll talk about something else. One thing that gets a little bit frustrating is watching people react to other people's speedruns. Like, and I try to put my own time into making my own little runs to talk about and showcase, I guess, rather than just taking other people's runs. I guess you could say it's free publicity for the runner, but actually having speedrun stuff myself in the past, I kind of understand how much work goes into putting together a speedrun. And I think a lot of people just see that as free content, and I guess that can be a little bit, I think it's a little bit unfair. It's different if you ask for permission, it's okay, but I think a lot of people that react to speedruns and stuff, they don't really ask for permission. They just watch it and slap it on their channel, and it's usually some really famous person. They make a ton of money off it, and it's really just the easiest piece of content. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, for me, I kind of don't want to use bonus unlocks. Oh yeah, when you're running across those wooden platforms, by the way, if you just tap sprint, you can actually run across them like that. Just don't hold sprint. Rocket launcher on Salazar, bam, dead. Easy. That chapter's a very straightforward one. Really not a lot different to a regular playthrough. But yeah, I kind of like to do stuff. Gives me somewhat of a challenge. And I feel like I've done the stuff I wanted to do, challenge run wise, except for my no damage run. I've done the professional S plus, I've done the no healing items, I did knives only, and knife and pistol only. So yeah, when I make my guides, I kind of like stuff just to be easy to follow as well. Just not using those bonus items, but I feel like if you do follow my guides, it's up to you if you use those bonus items. Give yourself an edge if you want to. I think that was what I was going to say anyway. It's late, man. It's like 3 AM here and I'm tired, but yeah, I need to get this video recorded before I hit the hay, so Excuse me if I sound a little tired and my brain is foggy. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. Right then, so what are we on to now? Chapter 13? I think so, yeah. There's a good couple of skips in this chapter, although we still have to play a good chunk of it. The skips with the turrets are the ones that can really cause you some problems, but they're not particularly difficult. It's just if you get hit by the turret, it does a ton of damage, and that's just not what you want. On chapter 15, there's one of those turrets that you've got to basically take damage from, and if you don't have enough health by the time you reach that point, you're going to be in for a world of hurt. But what you can do is slap on the chicken hat if you want to. I think I actually used a heal because I got really hurt by the turret at the end, and I ended up using that one heal. If I wanted to, I could have just used the chicken hat, but I'm really not fussed. Alright, so we're going around here, and what you want to do here is wait for the second part of the cutscene to play, where he's actually walking out of the door, then skip the cutscene, and that way he'll be standing outside the door. If you don't do that, he won't be standing outside the door. Shoot him in the leg here when you get next to him, and then get close enough so that he tries to kick you, and back up a little bit, and then the turret will shoot him, and you can just use him to block the fire of the turret and run past. It looks really complicated, but it's actually quite an easy glitch to do, to be fair, that one. As long as the turret is hitting something else, you're usually good just to run through it. Very cheeky, but very nice. Okay, so I have to imagine that that happened to someone by accident, and that's how that was found. There's no way somebody thought to do that, right? That just had to happen to someone by accident somewhere. And people started replicating it. Like they ran or knocked an enemy into it, or they just went into it with an enemy and the enemy got hit and not them and they were fine. I don't want to believe that somebody sweated to find that. I want to believe it happened by accident. Really cool little trick though. And I genuinely don't think that the devs meant for that to be in the game. I think that was probably something they didn't expect people to figure out. Or maybe they did, I don't know. So, coming up here then, and that striker charm really comes into play here. Running around these dudes and smashing this button. Without the striker charm, you're way more likely to get smacked up there. But I still did. Still got clubbed upside the face to take that guy wide. If we duck under this tripwire, we can make him run into it. Very nice. Alright, through here we go then. Little cutscene, let's skip that. So I think here is an example of pause buffering that I did. No, I didn't do it, but there's kind of a technique called pause buffering that a lot of people do. And it basically just means spamming the pause button on and off. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think it can manipulate the AI's behavior a tiny bit. But it also can cause weird things to happen within the game, like damage taken, and I think you can somehow avoid damage with it. I've heard people talk about it, but I don't know entirely. I could be wrong as well, like I'm not entirely sure. But one thing you see a lot of people using pause buffering for is just to see if an enemy's going to hit them or what direction an enemy's going into without losing time, because like I mentioned before, during the pause menu you don't lose time. So you can just keep spamming pause and see what's going on with enemies, or sort of evaluate the situation with a little bit more time on your hands. So rotate the top one 3 times and the bottom one 2 times, and there's your solution for this puzzle. Easy. Alright. So, level 1 keycard then. When we come out here, we just want to shoot the regen guy's leg off. And then we need to go back and pull the switch. One thing you can do here is open up the switch. Pull the switch that opens up the shutter that's sort of next to us. But you don't have to do that. I actually thought that you had to do that to get around to the other switches. But you can just go this way. Use the rocket launcher here to take out this regen guy. You can just run past him a couple of more times, but there's always the chance that he'll grab you. So I just like to get rid of him. a little more man, my English is just going downhill right now. A little more optimal technique is to put the keycard in here, take out the regen that spawns in this room, and then leave the room and take out the other one, then come back for the keycard. And you won't really lose any time because you've got to wait for the keycard anyway. But I just decided to get it a little bit early. I had a bad feeling that he was going to do something, so. Alright. Let's grab this. Give it a minute. We're actually nearly done with this chapter, even though it is one of the longer ones. I think this chapter, chapter 11 and chapter 9 are the longest. Chapter 4 is also quite a long one. There's a few chapters that sit around the same place, but yeah, this one, chapter 11 and chapter 9 are definitely the long ones. Alright. There we go. So we're coming in here, going down, and there's one enemy that we want to deal with in this section, although I think I got grabbed here, maybe. Can't remember. Trying to get rid of that guy, and then we need to use the rocket launcher to try and take out all 4 of the regen guys. Yeah, I did get grabbed here. Cheeky bugger. Because this is such a long chapter, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take that grab and move on. So you're hoping that one of the regen guys you kill has the wrench, because it's random as to which one it spawns on, I'm pretty sure. So, use the wrench, slap the keycard in, get that level 3 going. Get it in there. And deal with whatever enemies come your way. Keep blasting them. Okay. Oh, get rid of that guy. Those dynamite guys are scary, man. They can just ruin your day so quickly. Alright. Go away. One more. Give me my key card and let me go. Alright, let's go save Ashley. Get out of here. That's pretty much all we gotta do now. I'm leaving. We'll be seeing you. Like I mentioned earlier, one thing that is a big difference when you change the frame rate from 60 to 120 is that you can interact with stuff faster, especially when it comes to getting key items into whatever you've got to use them with. It just seems to work way faster. On 60 it just seems slow. Takes forever for it to register what you're doing. Okay then, on to chapter 14, skipping up all of this stuff obviously. We got a couple of door skips coming up. If you're unclear on exactly how to do this still, it's kind of complicated to explain, but essentially what you want to do is aim all the way to the ground with the sniper scope out, back up into the door as far as you can, and then spin and try and interact with the door whilst you're spinning. You need to kind of let go of the scope before you spin, and you should be able to glitch through the door. You'll end up on the other side of it. It can be a little tricky to get right, and it takes some practice. Like I mentioned before, it's way easier on mouse and keyboard, but doing it on this chapter right here is probably the biggest time save that a door skip gives you. Just because now we don't have to go like so far to get to here, just to get to this lift. Pretty much all we do in this chapter is fight Krauser, whereas before we have to like go down, deal with the regen dudes, and unlock parts of the sewer, do the wrecking ball section, and then open this up. You can just skip it all. You don't even have to wait for Ashley to climb over and open that gate for you. Super nice.
You know,
Very, very nice.
I was thinking, we work well together, don't we?
I guess so.
No.
Right? Maybe someday I'll become an agent like you.
Extra no.
We could protect the U.S. from any and all threats.
Sweetheart, I've played professional.
Well, either way, first we have to make it out of
You ain't cutting it. Tell you now.
You're no fun.
All of the no's. Right, let's go. So, yeah, pretty much just dealing with Sadler and... Oh, sorry, well, it's a quick conversation with Sadler here, right? And then it's Krauser. Yeah, he nicks Ashley, which is just not cool.
Sadler,
It's probably a faster way to do this section here. I usually, because I'm so used to doing it on other runs, I shoot this guy and then grenade the other dudes. I'm guessing you probably want to rocket launcher the enemies down there because I spent a little bit too much time fighting them. Just like put a few shots into them, and I know I say a lot of time, it's not really a lot of time, I just ran away at this point, but you could probably just take them all out with a rocket launcher from above and be done with it. Save you messing around with all this BS. Alright then. Let's go deal with Krauser. And this is more or less the majority of this chapter, just dealing with him. Let's go ahead and drop down. Sorted. Rocket launcher to the face. That will end that section really fast. I don't even think he does damage to you there. If he does, it's just body armor damage. Don't think he harmed our health. Alright. Let's go. Right. Up, down. Going around. Rocket launcher is king during this section. We can duck under this. Tuck into this little alcove here. And you can use the rocket launcher to blow up the mine that's next to us, but also get rid of Krauser. If you come around here, you can blow up this stuff with the rocket launcher, then you need to blow up Krauser as well, and he's just going to dip again. We use the rocket launcher to blow up the mine and the turret in one go. If we slap another rocket there, it'll do the same thing again. Just stuns you a little bit, which is kind of frustrating. You can avoid this explosive arrow, but I think it's faster just to run into it. Otherwise you have to back up more, and then if you're too close to it you end up getting stunned anyway, so you might as well just run into it. So you can hit Krauser with a rocket from here, and that kind of just eliminates the possibility of getting smacked up by him here, which can happen very, very easily. Also, again, like I backed up here just because I'm so used to doing it, but I'm pretty sure if you just run into the grenades and take the damage, especially if you've got the chicken hat on, it's just much easier. I'm going to use the Killer 9 heal. And then the rocket launcher. Stops him from shooting you. I think if you use the rocket launcher straight away, he just tries to melt you with his TMP, but yeah, the Killer 7 will bring him down to the floor. Quick rocket launcher. Rocket launcher here also stops him from getting anywhere near you. Duck under this, keep moving. Hop over here. Blast him. Go, 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 go. Head up this. And when you take the shot with the rocket launcher, you kind of just want to make sure you're aiming for the platform below him. You have to adjust your aim just a little bit. Alright, there we go. Sorted. Nice and easy fight. 2 more chapters then. They are both relatively short. 15. Well, 15's a little bit longer than 14, I guess. 16 is obviously the shortest. Okay, well there's not really any skips for 16. This one does have a couple of cheeky skips in it. Hop down.
I have something I think you like.
Go, 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 go. Right. So we're going to use the rocket launcher here to take out these dudes. If you manage to get rid of everyone, Mike doesn't have to shoot any, and I think it triggers things a little bit faster, but he'll always shoot a couple of rockets. One of them lands by your feet. So enemies spawn in that tunnel and also around the corner from the building. So that's what we need to focus on. So Mike will have a little conversation with us. Do it. So as soon as he finishes talking, they'll all start spawning, and you just kind of want to alternate between these 2 points. Just keep blasting. Pretty much when you kill 2 in that tunnel, another 2 will spawn up. I think that's everyone now. So at that point we just want to wait here for Mike to blow this up for us and we can just run on. Takes a second. There he goes. Alright. So go, 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 go. Don't worry about waiting on the corner. You may have done that in the previous run, but just keep running, keep running, keep running. Shoot these guys when the laser beam goes away from the rocket launcher. Skip the cutscene from Mike, and we need to chuck a flashbang up here to stun these guys so we can climb up the ladder straight away. Just go, go, go. Run around here, hop down. And when you gain control of Leon, you'll want to throw a flashbang up these stairs, sort of at the top of it, and that'll kill the parasite below you, but also stun the guys up here. We're going to whip out the rocket launcher, aim it at the turret about there, whip out the snipe, and look back, so that as it blows up, we hit an autosave, and we're in the wall to get out of bounds as that happens. It's kind of tricky to get your head around that one at first, because it's kind of a quick swap and back up into the wall. We want to come over to this point when we're out of bounds and blow ourselves off the edge of the map. And this will help us with a glitch later in the chapter. Basically, there's a glitch that allows Leon to carry Ashley like a briefcase. And this is how you get it to work. You need to get Leon to go out of bounds. And then if he lands back in bounds like this, you've got a chance of getting the glitch at the end where Leon literally drags Ashley around like he's had enough of her bullshit. So after that, when you land back in the map, you can come through here and just run behind that gate that you have to go and pull the switches for normally. And yeah, you can completely skip messing around with that gate. Okay, if you've beat the game, you know how slow that part is where you're dragging Ashley around, where he's carrying her. Super, super slow, and it speeds it up a ton by doing what we just did. So when you gain control here, throw a flashbang just to stun up the bugs. Doesn't happen all the time, but a lot of the time when you're trying to leave, one of the bugs will just grab you and it's kind of frustrating. Alright, so snipers at the ready. We got a couple of door skips coming up. These ones are a little bit different. We don't try and interact with the door. What we do this time is sort of back up into them, spin around and just move forward. And yeah, you can glitch straight through them. Just like that. Save you having to mess with the wheels. And we can do that again here, save us having to go deeper into this room. Not sure if this one took me a couple of attempts or if I got it straight away. I got it straight away. Lovely. On we go then. And we get up here. We want to fire a rocket about here. This will take out the mine, hopefully, and kill the bug. I didn't get the mine this time though, so I had to shoot it. And yeah, it sort of gets this bug down, but it didn't kill him. I had to shoot him with the Killer 7.2. Take out the RPG guy, because he's just going to be an absolute nose otherwise. And then we're going to come up here and take out these two bugs. There's one more that we want to leave alone, just in case we get super lucky. But if we come to here, whip out the flash grenade. When an enemy comes to hit us or lunges at us, you want to make sure you throw the flashbang so that it sort of hits the ground while they're like mid-animation. That way, if they do grab you, the flashbang will go off and stun them, and hopefully the turret will start shooting them, and that'll give you the opportunity to run through the turret. If that doesn't happen, you can kick them into it and do the same thing. I actually got hit a little more than I wanted to, so I had to use a first aid spray there, but that's how you get through those turrets, to skip that whole little section at the end. So now, see Leon carrying Ashley the way God intended. You can actually skip this sort of part where he leans up against the wall by walking through the first part sideways, but I forgot to do it. But it's okay, I'm really not too fussed. This run's been pretty good. There's a few mistakes here and there. I didn't get all the skips as fast as I'd like, but it gives you an idea about what people are doing. So yeah, you can. I think you use pause buffering to get another little skip here where he does. I think it's up here where he sort of almost drops Ashley or something. But yeah, carrying Ashley like an absolute boss right now, mate. Fucking suitcase Ashley. This is how we should walk into the Oval Office and throw Ashley at the president. Like, my job here is done. Just dragging her along. Oh dear. Alright, there we go. She was wearing sunglasses indoors for hours, so she deserved it. Okay. And a little bit more for good measure.
It has to be different.
Slap her down. There we go. Chapter 15 done. On to chapter 16 then. So,
All of this.
you've probably all seen this one
This
100 times. Very short chapter. Only a few enemies we need to kill.
Thanks to him.
Let's get it done. Hurry up, Ashley. Don't make me carry you like a briefcase again, love. Come on.
You're getting good at that.
right?
Alright, let's go.
You sure you're okay?
Never been better.
Never better.
Good.
I bet it does feel good to have a parasite removed for you. Although it's only been in you for 90 minutes, Leon. Stop complaining, mate.
That woman who helped us. You think she's alright?
Alright, down we go.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, there's one bug that we need to deal with here. Right there. Don't want to get jumped by them right now. And we're not going to go and get that Illuminado's pendant. This is such a short chapter when you think about it. It's literally just Sadler and 3 bugs. Right there and right there. Camouflaged. Alright. Go, 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 go. So if you're really quick about the shot you hit on Sadler, you can actually get him to die while he's on the platform he starts on. But if you're like me and you miss your first shot and it somehow wiggles in between his big tentacle mass, then he'll go downhill. There we go. Alright, so now we've just got to escape. That jet ski on the go. I was really happy to see that you can still do backflips on the jet ski. I think that one of my flips got messed up or something. It didn't work for some reason, but I got a couple in there. We had a couple. I got the backflip in and that's all that matters to me. The side ones are kind of shit, but the backflips are cool.
We're not out of here yet.
Alright, hop this little gap.
Thanks.
Next.
See you later, mate.
They're not attacking.
Let's get to that jet ski.
There's nothing now the master's gone. It's over.
Yeah, they're all having a real bad day. Especially that guy that tried to jump through the doorhouse. He ain't gonna be in Resident Evil 5. Alright, let's get to this jet ski, mate. Not a bad little run. Sorry for my tiredness. I've tried to be as entertaining as possible. Remember what I said about speedruns. If you want to learn more, head on over to speedrun.com, man. And ask questions. If there's anything you want to know, check out the Discord. For pretty much any game there is. Obviously, I'll try and help you out in the comment section if I can. But if you can't reach me there, you can always come on over to my live stream at twitch.tv/ifreams. Will definitely put some hair on your chest getting over there. And I've also got other guides out for this game or some other videos. Maybe if you want collectibles, they're there. The Professional S Plus guide, no healing items, all that good stuff. Maybe got a little twist in there. Let's go. It's funny how it actually gives you pesetas for doing those tricks. Yeah, also if you want to show a little bit of support to your boy, drop a like, subscribe, comment, all that great stuff. It really helps out with the algorithm. I appreciate it. Alright, we got one more little jump. And then we're all done here and you can see the final time. Don't worry, I won't tease you and not show you the results screen. Let's go, go, go. Skip all of this stuff. I'll probably be running this for a little while to see how I get on. If you want to come watch me do some runs of this, feel free. I'll be doing that over on Twitch soon. Again, thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a great day. And until next time, take it easy.